Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Disney! Hello everybody and welcome back to Pitch This here on the channel. I'm your host MrEliMac, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So this video is going to be a little bit shorter than the past videos that I've been doing, which have been like a lot bigger than normal, but this video is going to be a lot smaller because this pitch video is going to be me basically talking about what I would do with doing a live action remake of a Disney animated film. And yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be taking a Disney animated film and saying what I'm going to be doing for a live action remake. So before I get into the idea, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification bell, that way you can be notified whenever a new video like this comes your way. For all intents and purposes, I'm just going to tell you right now, the movie that I'm going to be adapting to live action is Atlantis, The Lost Empire, which is a movie that I think has been unanimously said that needs to be adapted into live action for a Disney live action remake. It's one of those movies that when you look back at the past, not a lot of people have given it a lot of credit. There are a lot of people now who are around my age that love that movie and would love to see it as a live action film. Also, it's a way to adapt a animated movie that wasn't considered a Disney classic like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, etc. Movies like that are considered animated classics, and this is a movie that hasn't really been looked at as a classic except for people like myself and people of my generation. With all that being said, I'm just going to get into the pitch right now. So before I get into some of the ideas that I have for the live action remake, let me go into the synopsis of what the movie is about. An inexperienced young adventurer becomes the key to unraveling an ancient mystery when he joins up with a group of daredevil explorers to find the lost empire of Atlantis. A naive but determined museum cartographer, Milo Thatch, dreams of completing the quest begun by his late grandfather, a famous explorer. When a journal surfaces, an eccentric billionaire funds an expedition and the action shifts to high gear. And this movie came out all the way back in 2001, so it's close, actually it is over 20 years old at this point. And I think it would be such a fun movie to be adapted into live action. And some of the stuff that I would see, like, we would see a lot of the normal stuff that was in the movie. We'd see the backstory on what happened to Atlantis. We'd see the action set pieces under the water of the big submarine escaping from the Kraken-like creature. We would have Rourke be the main antagonist of the film, and we would have all that stuff. But mainly what I would want to do for this live action remake is flesh out a little bit more of some of the backstories and maybe some of the characters. Like, what, for instance, in the film there is the big twist of Rourke actually being the bad guy, because throughout the entire film he's actually treated as a good guy, and him being a he was very much the person that went on the expedition with Milo's grandfather. But in the movie, they never actually show like what happened. They just say, oh, Rourke basically just tells Milo, oh, by the way, I went on the expedition with your grandfather, and this is sort of what happened. So what I would do with the live action remake is that I would show a flashback of what Rourke says, and says, oh yeah, this happened, that happened, and everything. But then when we get to the reveal of Rourke being the bad guy, and Rourke sort of explains, oh, this is what really happened. We get the flashback as well with what really happened with Rourke and Milo's grandfather. Also, I would want to explore more some of the other characters in the expedition, like Sweets. I want to explore his character a little bit more. I'd want to explore Audrey Ramirez's character, who was like the youngest member of the expedition. And also sort of in the animated movie, it shows that all the characters that were working with Rourke were actually like bad guys as well, sort of bad guys in quotes, but they're mercenaries, so they all of them turn to work and help Milo. And sort of I would want the live action movie to sort of explain why they would actually turn against Rourke, instead of just being like, oh, we're against Rourke and we're not really going to explain why they're just, due to some stuff that happened in Atlantis, they're turning. No, I wanted to give more of an in-depth look, and I want to get more of an in-depth look of Atlantis. I sort of want to give more of an explanation of Atlantis, and more like, that way we can learn more about Atlantis instead of just the quick stuff that we saw in the animated movie. In the live action movie, we'd see more of Atlantis. We'd see sort of what happens in Atlantis and sort of how the civilization is. That way we can get more of an idea of, like, if the mercenaries are going to turn against Rourke and start working with Milo on this, I sort of want them to sort of get used to Atlantis and being around Atlantis. That way we can fully see their reasoning for turning against Rourke. Also, I think there are some casting decisions that I have in my head, but again, like, I don't know when this movie would get made, so a lot of them could easily change. Like, my main thing with Milo right now is Andrew Garfield, because I love Andrew Garfield, but at the same time, that could easily change when this movie were to get made. But ultimately, I think that the best thing that could be done for this movie is to just explore more of what happened, like more of the backstory and side story stuff, and maybe have another action set piece, maybe extend the action set piece, and maybe even show a little bit, and I think this is something that was missing as well, show more of Milo's life before the exposition. Like, before, like, everything that he does. Show some of his time at the museum, working at the museum, like, show more of it, instead of just, oh, this is something that is happening, and this is the group of people that work at the museum just pushing him off. Show a little bit more, like, oh, why are they pushing him off? I don't know, that's just an idea that I'm having for it. And, yeah, that's pretty much it for the live action remake stuff that I would add for it. You know, just add more backstory to Atlantis, show a little bit more of Atlantis and the civilization of them, maybe extend the action set pieces, show more, like, give more depth to Rourke and show his time with Milo's grandfather, show Milo a little bit more pre-expedition, and also show some time with him and Kita. I know that was already in the original animated movie, but maybe show a little bit more time. Show that the romance is blossoming, because that was the romance for it. And I think a major thing that I want to push for, if they were to do this in live action, is to have indigenous people play the characters in Atlantis. Like, have indigenous people as the actors who are playing the Atlanteans in the movie. Or if the studios don't want indigenous people, have people of color. Don't have it sort of like how it is in the actual animated movie. I know it's self-explanatory, and so me just saying it makes no sense, because it's like, everyone knows, like, you need people of color to play the Atlanteans in Atlantis: The Lost Empire. But I want Disney, if they were to do it, to, like, fully, like, hey, this is the people of color are the Atlanteans in Atlantis: The Lost Empire. We cannot lose that for this film. That is a major point. And yeah, that's basically it. I can't really think of anything else. I know this video is, like, shorter than a majority of my pitch videos, and it's because January is sort of, right now it's sort of like a restarting period for Pitch This, but I think very much this month is going to be me just talking about Disney live action remakes that I would like to see, and sort of talk about what I would add to the film. So yeah, that was very much the idea. What did you think about the additions that I would put for the live action remake of Atlantis: The Lost Empire? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you indifferent to it? Whatever your thoughts, post them in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We are almost to 75 subscribers, so let's try to hit that 75 subscribers. I want to try to get to 100 by the end of this year. At 100 by the end of 2023. I'm not going to try to shoot for anything further, just 100 by the end of 2023. So please hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell, that way you can be notified whenever a new video like this comes your way. But until the next pitch video, I've been MrEliMac, you've been the audience, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day.